you been recently? I was just thinking about you, so I thought I would make contact. I hope I'm not bothering you.
No, it's fine. Is there something you wanted to talk about?
Well, there is something, actually. I would have thought you'd be able to guess. You're my son's girl. I hope things are going well between you two. But there seems to be something going on in the background. It may shock you when I tell you.
Oh, really? What is it? I thought everything was going well between my husband and I. No problems and nothing to worry about. You can rest assured that we are doing fine.
Are you sure there are no problems? You can tell me. Please do tell me everything. I will understand. You've been married for 3 years now. You two must be really close now. But there might be some troubles going on that you don't tell others about.
You're really pressing for an answer today. Is there something on your mind? Things are great between your son and myself. We are enjoying married life as couples do. We were actually thinking of moving to a larger house together. That, or maybe buying a new car and going on vacation. We're having a great time. We are truly in love, so I can't understand your close questioning. What exactly are you trying to say? What are you getting at?
You can never be too sure these days, can you? You have to be careful about everything you do. I heard a story about a girl who lost her husband after being married for 3 years. He got bored of her and ran off with another girl. Don't you ever worry that this might happen to you? In the beginning, I may have opposed your marriage. I didn't think you were a suitable partner for my son. I wanted him to marry a girl from a wealthy family. A girl with a great future ahead of her. But he married you. You're not that bad, but at the time I was a little bit disappointed. But forget about that now. I've changed my mind.
Well, thank you for giving me your approval. I know you have never been my greatest fan, but it's good to hear that you have finally made peace with the whole thing. I'm terribly sorry that I didn't live up to your high standards. And why did you bring up the cheating thing? It's a bit odd. Why would you say that?
I just thought I would mention it. It could happen to you.
Are you trying to say something here? Has he cheated on me?
I don't know. Well, I can't be sure that he has, but I have noticed one thing recently. You haven't been at home much. It seems you're always away doing this and that.
I've been busy with work. It's been really hectic, actually. The boss has new targets for us all, and he wants us to hit them. He said that if we do, we will all be in line for a big bonus. I had no choice but to do what he says. I need to impress him, and I want to do well at work. Part of this is going to visit potential customers in other cities. We had to go on many business trips.
Do you think that a man would accept this as an excuse? His wife always being away from home due to her work. He might start to suspect you're up to something while you're away. Or he might start to think of other women because he is not getting enough attention from you. Did you hear about my son's first love? A girl he dated in high school. They stopped talking to each other after graduation. But recently, they have suddenly started contacting each other again. It was his first love. You know how much it will mean to him. Even now. Everyone remembers their first love, no matter how long ago it was.
Are you trying to tell me that my husband has been cheating on me with his first love? We've been together for 3 years. I know my husband loves me. He wouldn't do that. We always talk about our future together. We have big plans. He wouldn't throw it all away for another girl. He loves me and me only. Maybe there is another thing going on here. Maybe something that you aren't admitting to. I know that you never liked me. You say that you've changed, but I am not so sure. I feel like you're trying to cause problems here. I know you never liked me. I would appreciate it if you didn't mention this again. Let's just drop it and not talk about it again.
You seem to be very sure of your position. You don't believe me? Maybe you should be a little bit more pessimistic. Men often stray. They get bored or they just want to experience something new. Furthermore, as I said, this was his first love. They have history. Longer than you and him. Also, this girl I'm talking about, she's more beautiful than you. And nicer, too. She'd make a real nice wife. In fact, she is just the kind of girl that I wanted him to marry. But then you came along.
I understand what you're saying. I know men can be like that. But my man is different. I am absolutely sure of it. And you should be too. He is your son, after all. He wouldn't do it. Trust me. What makes you so sure that he did? Do you have any evidence to prove what you're talking about? Photos or something?
Do I need to give you evidence? You're really not going to believe me, are you? You're going to sit there in denial. I'm a lady of great wisdom and experience. I know something when I see it. I can tell what's going on. I don't need evidence. It's obvious. You should prepare yourself mentally. Soon you will realize what is going on and you won't be happy. You'll be heartbroken and feel betrayed. You'll regret that you ever trusted a man and that you didn't see what was going on sooner. What's more, it will scar you for life. You'll spend the rest of your life struggling to trust and move on.
Don't talk to me about this again. I don't want to hear about it. I think you've said enough. Now let's change the agenda. Isn't there something more enjoyable to talk about? Or do you insist on going on about this subject?
There is something that I should let you know about. That girl has been coming over to our house a lot recently. She has even been coming to family events. You could almost say she is becoming part of the family. She comes over and talks to me. I get along with her really well. She is such a polite and intelligent woman. I'm sure it's because she wants to be close to my son. And I'm sure that he feels the same way, too. Why else would she come over? Why else would she be this close to us?
She's been going to your house? I can't believe it. What has she been doing that for? My husband never told me about this. I'm starting to feel a little bit worried.
Yes, and she is so cute and lovely. She's a big hit with everyone. We all like her. What if he leaves you? What are you going to do? You're his wife. If he dumps you, then how will you get by? You're totally dependent on him for everything. This kind of thing has happened to a lot of women recently. It's a real tragedy. They marry a man who seems nice at first. Things go well for the first few years, but then he starts to lose interest and yearn for his freer days. Finally, he runs off with another woman so he can feel that excitement again. It seems like it's happening to you.
Look, just because she came over to your house doesn't mean that anything happened. There might be a perfectly innocent reason for it all. I will admit that it is a bit suspicious, especially considering that he didn't tell me anything about it. But it doesn't mean that you're right. I'm going to hope that you're not. Anyway, I've got something to do now. I need to go. Maybe we can talk about this topic again later.
What have you got to do? Some housework? I think you have more important things to worry about. Are you going to come over to our house later today? Lots of people are coming to visit, so I have prepared a lot of food.
Who is coming?
Some guests. I went to the store and bought a load of stuff to make food with.
Well, don't stress yourself too much.
I am going to make something I saw on YouTube.
Okay, great. But why do you need to go to so much effort? Why don't you make something simple?
There are important guests coming. I was hoping that you would be one of them.
Today isn't a good time for me, I'm afraid. I've got a lot of things to do. I can't come, but you have a good time.
Well, if you can't come, then what can I do? Such a pity. Anyway, speak to you later. What are you doing now? You should really come over and join us. I told you, we have important guests here. Come over here too.
Who's there? Did you invite that woman over? His first love? Why would I want to come over if she's there? What kind of mother would invite a cheater over to eat? You think it's fun to upset me?
Wow, you really do jump to conclusions, don't you? How are you going to survive when your husband leaves you? I didn't want him to marry you in the first place. I was totally distraught by it.
So you thought you would try to cause trouble like this?
Aren't you curious to know what kind of a girl she is? You should be thankful that I've invited her over. She is a beautiful and loyal girl. Come over and see for yourself. You might even become friends.
I can't believe you would do this and think it's funny. What's going on in your brain? I'm not coming over to meet her. Why would I do that? I always knew you were like this. A complete pain. Always trying to cause trouble and make me unhappy. You just enjoy your time with that girl.
What do you mean? I'm not trying to cause trouble. I'm just trying to help you understand the situation.
If you like her so much, then just enjoy your time with her. Forget about me.
What do you mean by this?
You know what I mean. She is so beautiful and lovely. You said it yourself. You told me that my husband really loves that girl. But I know that my husband is not the kind of guy who would cheat on me with another girl. I'm still confident about this. In fact, I'm pretty sure I know what has been going on. It might be you who gets the shock, not me.
What do you mean by that?
My husband didn't cheat on me. He had to go away on business. This much is true. But I know that he didn't meet that girl. I knew from the beginning that he didn't meet the girl. He told me. You were making it up. You never had any concrete evidence. It was just your wild imagination.
What a load of garbage. I remember clearly that he really liked that girl. She spent a lot of time with him. I was hoping that she would marry into our family.
So you think he has been spending time with her? She has been coming over to your house. And you think this was to be with my husband?
Yes. Why else would she be here?
I know that he has never hung out with this girl. Certainly not recently. She told him that she liked him, but he refused her. He wants me, not her. Yet despite this, she still thinks she has a chance with him. She is creepy and he doesn't like it. He told me it was always this way. He told me that when he was younger, he would run off after school to try and get away from her. It seems he never liked her that much.
No, it wasn't like that. They liked each other. I'm sure of it. He never told you this. You're lying. She has been over here. She has come over so much that I've started to see her as his girlfriend. They are really close and they get along so well. It seems like a great match. And why else would she come over on her own?
Just think about it for a moment. How did you know that she wants to be with him? Did you actually see them together, talking to each other? My husband tells me he never even spoke to her. He says when she came over, he wasn't in. So it must have been for some other reason. Let me think for a moment. Who could it have been? Your husband was there too, wasn't he?
What's the significance of this? Why did you have to bring him into the conversation? What makes you think you can talk about my family? You're a crazy little girl. What are you trying to say about my husband? Are you questioning his character? My husband is a decent and honest person. What are you suggesting? You should be very careful about what you say.
Well, if you want to believe all that stuff about my husband and that girl, then go ahead and believe it. Who am I to tell you what to think? If you don't believe the truth, then you're only causing more problems for yourself. When people are faced with a bad situation, they often go into denial. They live in denial, pretending that it isn't happening. Sometimes they come up with an excuse. It seems this is what's happening to you. You can't accept what is happening, so you made up this story about my husband being with the girl. The truth hurts, I guess. I suppose you did it to protect yourself.
What do you mean? Don't turn this around at me. You just can't see it coming, can you? You can't imagine that my son may want to divorce you. It's you who is in denial, not me. Believe me, it's true.
My husband just isn't the kind of guy who would want to have a divorce. He wouldn't just leave me like that. He is too serious to fall in love with another girl. But I'm not so sure about other men in your house, especially your husband. I think your husband is too friendly with this girl. They seem to be plotting together. They certainly have the courage to cause this much trouble. I think it's kind of pathetic.
Plotting what? What do you mean? You think they are up to something? What evidence do you have? You think that they are trying to split you up?
No, not that. I don't think they are trying to do anything. I just think that they are too close. Maybe they have fallen in love with each other. Maybe they're already together. Maybe it's you being cheated on and not me.
What makes you think this? Where did you get these wild ideas from?
I have my sources, but I'm not telling you just yet. It wouldn't be fair for me to tell you where I got this information from. I've learned about it, and I'm sure I'm right. 100% sure.
You think I'll just accept you making these wild accusations? Why were you gossiping about my husband? Who are you talking to? I always thought you were a weak and pathetic girl. But it seems you have a lot of nerves to make such bold accusations.
I didn't believe what was being said, so I had to find out for myself. That girl was always going to your house. So I wanted to know for myself what was going on. It seems there has been a special connection between your husband and that girl. He has always wanted other women. It looks like he couldn't control his desires. He has caused so many problems for his family. I was too curious. I couldn't hold back. I needed to know the truth. I even heard he's already done this kind of thing many times before. Why would you think it would be different this time? You're too trusting.
You're lying. Don't try to turn this around on me.
He's a big fan of young girls, and you know it. That's why she was coming over to your house. He was buying this girl presents to win her attention. Every time you were out, that girl came over to your house. She came over to be with him. Don't you think it's funny that you didn't even realize?
How can you even suggest this? It's ridiculous and outrageous. I know he may have been too close to other, younger women in the past, but it was just a phase he went through. We got over it together and moved on. Also, he never actually cheated on me, so I don't believe he would do it this time either.
Look, I have heard a lot of people say the same thing, and I have amazing sources for this information. I have already contacted some of her old school friends. They have confirmed the situation to me. If you don't believe me, then go ahead and ask your husband directly. See what he has to say. If you confront him, then he probably won't deny it. You can even tell him what I said. Her friends told me. It's not just a wild guess.
Are you serious about this? Are you telling the truth? You're saying that he's been cheating on me with this girl.
That seems to be what's happened. There was a big gathering of her high school friends. I was there and I asked them about it. I didn't believe it at first myself, but they told me. I had to know more, so I pressured them for detailed answers. After a few drinks, they started to tell me everything. It seems that she knew about his successful business. This was the trigger for her to make her move. She got the whiff of money, and so she came calling. I heard the inside story about this. I got to know everything. At first, she wanted to make friends. Then she pretended that she cared about his business and all that stuff. Finally, after a connection was established, she started to turn up the heat. And all the time, this was going on right under your nose. What a clever girl she is. And even when you did guess that something was going on, you thought it was your son she was after. How naive of you!
You really found this out. What evidence do you have? I want to see it. I will need evidence if I'm going to divorce him. If it's his fault, then I'll get a better divorce settlement. Help me here.
Why should I send evidence to you? It's not like you've been nice to me. If you want me to help you now, you'll have to give me something in return. Why not give me some money?
Where am I going to get the money from? I don't even have enough for myself. I just get some money from my husband and spend it every month. But it isn't a lot.
I thought you got a lot. You seem to live a luxurious lifestyle. But now your husband has cheated on you, too. Are you going to get a divorce?
It's none of your business.
Okay, well, just don't contact me again. The whole situation is depressing for me. If you want to know the truth, then you can contact me. But you might need to pay for the detailed information. Until then, I guess we have nothing to talk about.
Wait, what am I supposed to do? How am I going to cope with all this?
Find a way to deal with it. Just grin and bear it for the rest of your life. She confronted him about what had happened. At first, he denied it, but after close questioning, he went on to admit his affair. Furthermore, it wasn't the only girl he had cheated with. He had done it time and time again for a long time. All the while, his wife had been living in denial. At first, she didn't want to accept what had happened. But eventually, she had no choice but to accept the truth about her husband cheating. She cried over and over again. She was hurt so many times by that man. Eventually, he cut off relations with the girl. As for the wife, she didn't have the courage to divorce him. She didn't want to be alone again at her age, whilst also being in a difficult financial position. She had no choice but to accept it and try to move on as best she could. Try to live happily ever after.
Hey, Henry! Henry, what the hell was that all about? I know that was you in that car. What do you think you're doing? You know you could have killed me and my family. What was that all about?
What do you want, Gabriel? Didn't I give everyone the memo that I've got stuff to do? I mean, congratulations. Our soccer team won today, whoop-de-doo. I'm not gonna sit there and celebrate forever. Don't bother me. I told you I'm taking my son to martial arts training. I want this kid to be breaking cinder blocks just like his dad. You got that? So just leave me alone, you little worm.
Hey, Henry, don't think you can just run away from me. You can pretend you're busy all you want.
I know exactly the type of guy you are. You don't do anything on the weekends, but that's beside the point.
You and I have a little bit of beef, don't we?
You know what, Gabriel? I've got no idea what you're talking about. To me, you're just another guy at that soccer game. You're just like all the other losers there.
What is that supposed to mean?
Well, look at you all. All of you are so tiny and squishy. Honestly, don't you guys ever think about going to the gym or something? You got wives there. Aren't you embarrassed?
Embarrassed about what? Do you think everyone here should just be a roided out jock on steroids like you?
Hey, you take that back, little man. You have no idea who you're messing with right now. Do you really want me to come over there and teach you a lesson?
Teach me a lesson about what? How to be rude and look down on other people? Do you think everything is about size, Henry? You may be big on the outside, but I know you're a little man on the inside.
Yeah, go on then. Keep talking if you want some real beef to happen between us. You aren't the first bug that I've squashed.
That's exactly what you do, isn't it? You just squash people, right? That's why you tried to run me and my family over today.
Gabriel, I have got no idea what you're talking about. You should really keep off the reefer before you come to our soccer game. It's not a good example for the kids. You don't want to be the dad freaking out in front of everyone. Do you really want to embarrass your kid like that? After all that glorious cheering he got after that game, and then he sees his father petrified of the imaginary dragons flying in the sky. You should be ashamed of yourself. That's not a role model for a child.
Henry, you really need to know when to just shut it. Don't try and act like that wasn't you in the car. I know exactly what car you drive, everyone does. Only a pretentious douchebag like you would drive a decked out Hummer like that.
What did you just say? Don't tell me you just insulted my car. That's my little baby right there. That probably means more to me than my family itself.
You see, and that's exactly what I mean. I don't even have to try show you how pretentious you are. You care about a damn car more than your family. More than anyone else's family, it seems. You were talking to me about setting an example for the children. What type of example are you setting, Henry?
What are you going on about? Don't you have something better to do than bother me all day? You had my time at the soccer match, so now you can let me go off and do my thing. Go back to your little tea party with everyone else. I don't want to hear that crap coming out of your mouth.
Well, you're gonna hear it, and you're gonna hear more of it. You may think you're such a big manly man, Henry, but I see it all as a front. No real man would try and run over me and my family. Now, if you think I'm just gonna go home and forget everything that happened, you are gravely mistaken. You put my family in danger, so now I have to respond to you. Don't you ever think about doing something like that again. There will be consequences.
Wow, look at little Gabriel with the big boy threats. What are you gonna do, little man? Have you seen the size of me? Do you really want to pick a fight with this guy? Look, I know you want to show off in front of your wife about how much you're gonna stick up for the family and protect them or whatever. But I'm giving you a chance. Just go home and go to your reefer. I'm telling you that whatever security you've been giving your wife about beating the hell out of me isn't gonna go in your favor. The moment I kick your butt to whatever dirt country you came from, she isn't gonna feel so great about her husband.
What the hell did you just say to me?
Yeah, you heard me. This is America, and you ain't American. Don't you have a home, little Gabriel? What are you doing in my home? This is basically my backyard, and you're crapping in it. I want you to get the hell out of here.
You're trying to tell me that you don't know where I come from? Hasn't it been obvious?
All I know is that you would have come from somewhere that can't even afford the basic necessities. Just admit it, you spend every day just eating a little loaf of bread. That was it, wasn't it? Just look at the size of you. That must have been the case.
I really am dealing with a dimwit, aren't I? I mean, I've lived in America for a long time, so my voice has become more American. But I do still have some inflection of Italian every now and then. I thought people noticed and picked up on that. Everyone also knows the dinners I have. It's always spaghetti. Are you serious that you didn't know that I was Italian this whole time?
Is that what you're telling me right now? You're actually Italian? Ugh, that makes it even worse. With all that spaghetti, and you still can't get yourself at a healthy BMI? You're a disgrace, you know that? Better yet, why don't you get off all the carbohydrates already? Get a little protein in you. I swear my little daughter has bigger biceps than you do.
Insult me all you want, Henry. I don't need to give two dimes about what a guy says that I don't respect.
Oh, you seriously did not just play that card. Tell me you did not play that card. Do you have any idea who you are talking to, little man? I thought my size alone was enough to intimidate you, but you seriously want to go this far? You really are a little joke, you know that?
It really doesn't matter what type of man you are, Henry. It's about how you carry yourself. And you carry yourself like an abusive gorilla. You're just a bully, and that's not someone I respect. Whatever you've done in the past, or whatever you're doing right now, doesn't really matter to me. The way you talk to people is not appropriate, especially with what you did today. Which, come to think of it, you still haven't told me why you did that. What if you actually hit me and my children? What were you gonna do then, huh? Did you think that one through? I don't care what you hate me for, but that was totally out of line. I have always been cordial to you. So, what is it? I want you to spit it out right now. Come on.
Oh, you're so precious, aren't you? You didn't actually think that I was gonna hit you and your family, did you? It was just a little scare tactic. I wanted to see how you would react. I needed to see how much of a little girl you are.
Are you kidding me? So that's the only reason? Do we even know what true conflict looks like? Henry, if you had any idea of the consequences of escalating your aggression, then you wouldn't have done that. You did that solely to intimidate me, didn't you?
Well, I wouldn't say that's the only reason. I was really glad I saw those little eyes of yours open in that way. Admit it to me. You actually saw your life flash by you, didn't you?
I can't believe the type of person I am talking to right now. It's like I'm talking to a man in diapers. Are you this much of a simpleton, Henry? You know what? When I first talked to you, I thought something was a little bit off about you. I mean, it seemed like you were just solely focused on working out and bragging to others. I didn't know that you would take your arrogance to this level. I mean, do you truly think you're better than everyone because you have a big car and you go to the gym every week?
Gabriel, you have no idea who I am. Who do you think you are talking to me in that way? You should know your place. A little loser like you would never get to my level. I've seen that piece of crap that you drive around. That thing is so tiny. I bet you keep one of your children in the boot, don't you?
My life isn't all about cars and status. My family is the most important thing. I don't need to boost my ego with a big Hummer like yours.
Say whatever you want. I know you're just being jealous right now. It's fine, I get it all the time. Look, if you're gonna keep nagging me this much, I might as well tell you the real reason why I did what I did today.
Finally, I knew there was something up. Well, come on then, tell me. What did I do to offend you? What's been going on between us? Up until this point, I've kept everything peaceful. I have never had a bad interaction with you. I'll be honest, you've ticked me off on more than one occasion, but I am not the type of guy to take it too seriously. There are many people out there with different personalities. I can't judge them for it. But you went as far as to try and run me over today? This is something I can't accept.
Fine. It's because of that stupid little kid of yours. That little dork playing soccer today. How did you raise such a miserable little dweeb like that? I swear, just looking at him makes me want to go back to being a 12-year-old kid and just kick the crap out of him. Look how skinny he is. I'm surprised that the dogs don't just chase after him, thinking he's a big old bone.
Is that what this is then? It's something you have against my little boy? Oh, you really are pathetic, aren't you? There's just levels to your childishness. I mean, he's a little boy. What did he do to you?
That little kid showed disrespect to me is what he's done.
I find that hard to believe. I've raised him to be a good kid. If he said something rude to you, you come to me. You don't try and run us over. Whatever he has done, you talk to me and I'll sort him out. But admit it, he hasn't done anything, has he?
Look at you talk about him like he's the perfect kid. You raised him in the perfect way?
You know what? He is still a work in progress, but I am proud of my boy. I don't have an issue with him. I'm still working on more of his qualities. I want him to open up with a little bit more time. But there's one thing I know for a fact. He doesn't disrespect people.
Wow, so you're such a devoted father, aren't you? Everyone, can we just give an applause to Gabriel? Ah, he is such a model to everyone. We should all be like him. Ah, get over yourself. Why do you treat parenting like it's this big ordeal? It's not that hard. Especially with a boy. All you have to do is be a bit rough on him, and then he turns into the man he needs to be. What are you talking about? Teaching him all these principles and whatnot? What do you want him to be, a politician or something? You've got to be more realistic, Gabriel. A kid with a face that detestable isn't going to be admired by people. What you should really teach him is how to appreciate the people that are better than him. People that are in higher status than him. In fact, that's something you should have been taught. You are very clearly not giving me the respect that I deserve.
Instead of sitting there slinging insults about my son, how about you tell me what he's actually done? I am telling you right now, Henry, I was watching him that whole soccer game. I kept my eyes on him. I am very harsh on him, even if it might not seem that way. I trained him to get along with his teammates and to be respectful to the parents. I watched the way he talks to them. You don't realize this, but I've gotten angry at him for even the littlest type of things. There have been times where he says hello to the parents and he's not giving it his all. I want him to show excitement and respect to the people that he talks to. So if he's done anything, even the tiniest thing to be disrespectful today, I want you to tell me and I'll drill it into him.
The fact that I have to tell you this, Gabriel, is just absolutely astounding. I mean, you don't realize this for yourself? You don't realize how poorly he behaves when they're playing soccer out there?
Well, I've got to be honest, Henry, I don't. Because what I see out there is a boy that is giving it his all and doing his best to raise his team up to where it needs to be. I mean, he scored most of the goals today, right? He's got excellent camaraderie. He brings the team together. When he gets a little bit older, I'm not going to be surprised if he ends up being captain of his own team or something. What exactly did you have an issue with?
I really have to tell you, don't I? You are just unbelievable, you are. Well, fine. Here's what I have an issue with. That kid hogs the ball.
What did you just say?
Yeah, you heard me. He hogs it. He wants to steal the show from everyone. I mean, look at all those goals he racked up. Look at that little Italian face of his just sucking it all up. He loves all that attention. You love to talk about respect, but I'm telling you right now, that type of vanity isn't very respectful.
Is that really what you had an issue with? Shouldn't you be happy about the results of today? The team won, and they won by a remarkable difference. The parents were happy, the other children were happy, and we all had a party afterwards until you decided to leave. So what exactly is not working out in your favor?
I just told you, didn't I? He scored way too many goals. He should give the ball to the other kids. They need a chance to do it as well.
Well, what do you want him to do? Just pass the ball back to the defenders? He's a striker. He's gonna be the one scoring all the goals. That's how it works.
He's not the only striker out there, is he? They don't just put one guy in the front. That's not really effective. There are other strikers out there, and he's the only one scoring.
Well, I mean, that's just how the game goes, doesn't it? I mean, it's not like that striker alone is doing all the work. Sure, he was the one that put the ball into the net, but the other teammates brought that ball up there for him. He may be scoring, but he's not the only reason that we won today. That was a team effort. Don't you see that?
Gabriel, these are kids that we're talking about. That's not what they see. All they see is the guy putting the ball into the net. He's the star of the show. He's the one that everyone likes. No one cares about the defender, even when he does a good job. We're all waiting for that hype moment where a kid can jump, do a bicycle kick, and it lands in the corner of the net. That's something that my son himself has been practicing week after week. He's basically perfected it, and he hasn't been given the chance to show his skills.
So that's what this is about, isn't it? You want your son to take more of the spotlight?
Of course I do. He deserves to be recognized for all his hard efforts. I mean, do you know what type of regime I've put that kid under? He does the whole lot. I've got him doing different exercises every day. One day he'll be training for soccer, the other day he'll be training for his endurance, and the next he'll be training for his flexibility. I'm turning this kid into the ideal athlete. He's got a lot of potential in him. I put him into soccer because I want people to realize his potential. Now we've got the spaghetti bolognese eating twerp casting a shadow over him. People don't even know my son's name. I bet you don't even know his name either.
Well, I can guarantee that you probably know my son's name.
Gabriel, get real. I heard them chanting his name, lifting him up in the air after the game was finished. Don't try and act humble. You know he's the star of the show and everyone loves him.
Okay, well, fine. My son is really good at what he does. You know what? That's not to say that your kid doesn't do well too. My son goes through a proper training routine as well for soccer. I've also played some soccer myself and I've taught him. Now, I've seen your kid out there. He's really doing a good job. He's setting up all the assists. He's the one that passes the ball to my kid. I do feel like it's not fair that he doesn't get that much attention, but that's just the way that it is. We're not going to throw the game just because your kid wants to score.
Well, that's really how you're gonna act, isn't it, Gabriel? You have no idea about how my kid feels about this, do you? I mean, his champion mindset is deteriorating now. He feels like he doesn't have what it takes, even though he's physically able.
All of this over some little soccer game. Not only that, but these are kids. Is this really what you're gonna almost kill a family over? Is that what you're gonna explain to the police after you've put us in a morgue?
Hey, look, I have to do something, right? I'm not just gonna sit here and let my kid suffer. I need to do something to get through to your head.
You are just ridiculous, Henry. I can't believe that I'm talking to you about this.
So, you're gonna tell your kid to calm down or not? Better yet, why don't you just take him out of the team? I'm sure that would make everyone happy.
Yeah, it would make them happy, wouldn't it? Having the star player leave and from this point on, just forfeit all the matches. You've got two options. You can just let things stand as they are, or you can level up your kid a bit more. If he gets better at soccer, then maybe he'll get those opportunities to do what you want him to do. But don't think I'm just gonna start telling my kid to take it easy just because his teammates want a share of the glory. The better lesson to teach here is that this was a team effort. Just think about if my kid was out there on his own. Do you really think he'd be scoring all these goals? Of course he wouldn't. He would be getting obliterated by everyone. Teach your son that, and then we can come to some sort of agreement.
Is this really what it's gonna take? You're still not getting it through your head, are you, Gabriel?
Well, I am not backing down, and that's final. You can come threaten me as much as you want. You can threaten me that you're gonna beat me up. I am not going to budge.
This is just amazing. You actually think this is all about me trying to harm you, don't you? You actually think that that's where this is all gonna end? You don't know me at all, buddy. You don't know the people I know. You don't know what I am capable of.
Do I have to know? What pathetic threat are you gonna give me now?
You should be really careful about who you disrespect in this life. You never know what connections I have. Don't you realize that I'm part Irish?
I didn't realize that, but what does that have to do with anything?
Don't you know the Irish people at all? These are tough people. How about you read a little history book and you would know about them a little bit more? You don't mess with an Irish person.
So what? You're just like everyone else out there. Just because you're Irish doesn't make you special. In the same way, I don't sit there bragging about me being Italian.
You just don't get it, do you? I'm talking about the gangs, talking about the power that we've had. You don't think that those gangs still hang around? I'm telling you, if you know what type of past I had, you wouldn't be talking to me the way that you are, Gabriel. You'd be in your bed, sitting up all night, petrified of what was gonna come to you, petrified of who was gonna knock on the door. So you and I better come to an agreement, or something terrible is gonna happen to you.
Okay, so what you're telling me is that you know some people in a gang? I have to say, that is some tremendous influence you have there. A gang is something not to mess around with.
Well, now you're coming to understand, aren't you? I bet you're regretting everything you've said to me up until this point. And let me give you a little bit of extra information. I'm not just someone that knows a gang. I am someone that's been in a gang. You don't know the things that I have done. You don't know the things that I have done to people. You don't know the things that I have seen. If you were there to witness what I've been through, you would get goosebumps in the summer from it.
You are full of it. What's this gang's name then?
The name? Do I really need to tell you the name?
Well, of course you do. I'm meant to be so petrified of this mysterious gang that you're talking about. What are they? Just some little organization with basically no influence? I bet they're just a couple of losers that you drink with at the pub.
Yeah, right. This is a secret organization consisting of over 10,000 members. Their influence spreads all over this country and internationally as well. They are fearsome and not to be messed with. If you had any idea, you wouldn't be mocking them right now.
Okay, well, at least give me the name then. If they're as famous as you say they are, then I'm probably gonna know them.
What does a goody little two-shoes like you know about the dark side of the world? I've seen you walk around the soccer field with your glasses on like you're a grandpa. The only thing that you know is whatever was written on a page. You don't know what it's really like to be out here in the real world.
Well, I don't know. Try me. Let's see if I actually know about the gang that you're talking about. Give me the name.
You actually want the name, don't you? Yeah, okay, then I'll give you the name. I'll give you the name that you're so eager to hear. The name is the Drunken...
The Drunken what? Come on, you're in that gang, right? I'm guessing that you were high up in the rankings and that you knew everyone. You wouldn't actually forget the name, would you? I still remember the name of the kindergarten I went to.
Don't treat me like I'm some imbecile. Of course I haven't forgotten the name. The name is the Drunken...
Come on, just out with it. Henry, we don't have all day. The Drunken what? The Drunken Fairies?
Stop making fun of me.
Oh, wait, no. Now I know what you're talking about. No way. It couldn't be.
What? Who are you thinking about?
This is the one gang that I used to hear about all the time. They're an old gang, traditional. They go back many years. They're called the Drunken Misfits. You wouldn't happen to be a part of that gang, would you?
Oh, yeah, that's it. So, you have heard of our gang, haven't you?
Well, who hasn't heard of those guys? They're notorious for all sorts of evil deeds. Don't tell me that you were actually a part of them, are you? Please, that can't be true. Surely you aren't that fearsome.
Well, I'm glad that you know how much they're capable of. I don't want to sit here and try to explain it to you, but yes, I used to be part of that gang, and I'm still very friendly with its members. Anytime I need a favor done, they come to my aid with the click of my fingers. I have done a lot for that gang, and they have a lot of respect for me. They will do anything that I say no matter how busy they are, especially for a little matter like this.
All right, now, what is that supposed to mean? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do about this little matter between us?
Well, let's just say you might get an interesting knock on the door tonight. Who knows what type of person will be knocking, or even if it's gonna be a person. It could be a battalion of people for all you know.
Henry, I just want you to calm down. It doesn't have to escalate. This is my family that we're talking about. I don't want to bring any harm to them.
Well, now I've got you shivering in your boots, haven't I? You should have thought twice before you messed with me. If I were you, I wouldn't just keep those doors locked. I would bar the doors in. I'd make sure that no one can get in. If I really cared about my family, that's what I would do. If I wanted to call myself a real man and make sure no one got hurt, I would do whatever it takes to make sure that no one gets into that house. I probably wouldn't even sleep tonight. I'm not gonna risk having my star little Italian boy be put in danger because of my clumsy actions.
Oh, no, please, Henry, don't take it this far. This is a soccer game. Let's just calm down.
Well, you know what? You need this warning. Maybe I'll be in a better mood tomorrow. Especially when you start agreeing to my terms. take that little Italian boy off the team, or there's gonna be some trouble heading your way.
Tonio, how are you? It's been many years since we've talked last. I hope you've been taking care of everyone. They're your family. You treat them well, you hear me? How's Maria? She's not still singing that Mayale behind your back, is she?
Don Gabriel, is that you? It's been way too long since we last talked. I thought something happened to you. I thought that maybe you were killed or something.
Are you kidding me? Me? Killed? After everything that I've been through, there's not many things that I think would come even close to finishing me off. I want to know what's going on there. How is the family? Is everyone in good spirits?
Everyone is doing just fine. Don Gabriel, we've got a fantastic setup. The cash is coming in like flies to a turd. It's absolutely beautiful, I tell you. The system that you left us behind works so well. Of course, I'm doing my best to sustain everything. But I owe a lot of success to you. I'm really sorry for the conflict that we had so many years ago.
It's fine. It's only natural that you would feel that way. Someone that you considered a father and that cared for you suddenly up and leaves is going to be traumatic. I didn't expect you to agree with my decision. I was going to rest a large responsibility onto your shoulders, Antonio. I'm just sorry for what happened that day.
Have mercy on me. Forgive how impudent I was.
Oh, come on, Antonio. You're your own man now. And I am not the Don anymore. I don't want you calling me that. You have shown your colors. You have brought that family to a higher level, and I am proud of you. I want you to continue with what you're doing now. Just make sure you keep everything on the down low. Remember that the family is everything. Whatever success you may have, you have to treat everyone like they're your own child. That's the way I treated you, and I expect you to do the same.
Of course, Don Gabriel.
I am not the Don. This is the last time I'm gonna warn you.
Yes, Gabriel, I'm sorry.
Anyway, there's a reason why I am contacting you right now. I didn't want to have any dealings with the gang, but I've got a little bit of a familia issue at the moment.
Familia? What's going on? Is it something to do with your wife? Is she giving you headaches? Or maybe it's that son of yours. He was a good kid, but they all grow up at some point. He must be a teenager now, getting into mischief. If you want us to give him a little bit of a scare, just say the word. In my eyes, the gang is still owned by Don Gabriel. We're here to do as you bid.
No, nothing like that, obviously. With the way that I raised my family there, do you think something like that would happen with him? I'm not gonna make any mistakes. This is something outside of my family. It's a bit more domestic. I have this cafone I need to deal with.
Ah, a cafone. I see where this is going. There's someone getting on your nerves and you want them eliminated. I thought this day would come at some point. I mean, I know how the people behave these days. If you go back to being a common man, I was sure someone would disrespect you. No one knows where you've come from and you're trying to live out a civilian life? There was bound to be someone that you wanted to get rid of. Just give me the details and I'll have it all sorted. There won't be any trace of his existence. His family won't even know what happened.
No, I don't want to take it that far. My family has seen enough horrors. I don't want to give them another one. I just want this person to know his place. He's got quite the mouth on him. There's some men in this world that have built their reputation and have built their aura. Then there's other men that have pretended to build it. I need this guy to know that. He needs to respect his fellow man no matter who they are.
Wow, this is a little bit tame coming from someone like you. I remember the things that you would order me to do to guys. I remember this one time, you got me to pluck this guy's teeth out, and you had a video monitoring it all. He was actually watching his teeth being plucked out at the same time it was happening. I've got to be honest, I kind of felt a bit disgusted by what I've done.
Well, Antonio, I'm growing older now, and my mind is at peace. That's what I crave most. I don't want any violence. I don't want you to hurt this man, but I want him to taste true fear. I want him to taste true power and influence. I'm gonna get back to you. Let me organize something. Oh, come on, Henry, that is enough with the games. Tell me no one's coming to my house tonight. It's already so late. I'm ready for you. I'm ready for anyone that comes. My family is not here. I put them in a safe location. Just whoever you're sending over, tell them to come here right now. I am gonna deal with them. Whatever they want to do, they can do it. But just don't hurt my family.
Look at you on your knees groveling to me, pleading for your life. Now you finally understand, don't you? You understand that I'm not the type of person you should mess with. It's about time that you know your place. I can assume that your kid is gonna back off at those soccer games now, isn't he?
Look, just anything to save my family. Where are these people anyway?
Don't you worry. I'm feeling a little bit merciful after everything that happened. I think you finally realized what a pathetic little weasel you are. I decided to call my men off. And let me tell you, they weren't happy about that. They were looking forward to a little carnage. It's been a while since they've absolutely destroyed a house.
Oh my god, that's not actually what you were gonna do to me, was it? Come on, I'm a good man. You can't do this.
Being a good man is not enough. It's all about the power and the influence. You never know who's holding it. But at least with someone like me, I gave you enough hints, didn't I? You kept talking about my aura and how much it disgusted you. Well, that's the exact reason why I did it. It's so that people know what I'm capable of. I'm not flaunting it for no reason. There's a reason why people should fear me.
Oh my god, look, Henry, I understand you're a powerful man. You can hurt anyone that you want to. No one should annoy you. I finally get that. Just please don't you ever send anyone to my house. Just where are you anyway?
Well, look, I was actually thinking about coming on for a ride with those members of mine. It's been a while since I've indulged in that type of delicacy. I do kind of miss it. But you know what? I'm a more refined gentleman. I'm enjoying myself to a couple of carnal pleasures.
A couple of carnal pleasures? What is that supposed to mean?
A guy of my amount of power can basically do whatever he wants. A person like me deserves to be rewarded, especially after all the work that I do.
So what are you doing then? Are you going to a club or something?
Something of that nature. But I'm not like one of you people. I don't just go to the club with the other little plebeians. I like to go to places with higher value, somewhere that only refined people will go to.
Oh, wow, I'm sure someone like you would do that. You must know so many places. I bet you know the best bars, the best places to have a good time. If only I knew them as well.
You want a taste of this lifestyle, don't you? Well, look, if you lick the right boots and you behave yourself, then maybe you can get to the position I'm in. You also need to toughen up a little bit. I'm telling you now, a weak little man like you doesn't get respect from people.
Yes, you're right. You are so right. No one is scared of me. Everyone thinks that I haven't tasted any violence in my whole life. I am such a little mouse, aren't I?
You're finally recognizing it. You're on a good path, my friend. That's the type of attitude you should have. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to get back to enjoying myself. Christine isn't gonna wait for me forever.
What did you just say right now? Who's Christine? That's not your wife's name.
Do you think a guy like me is gonna waste time with his wife? She's basically the maid at this point. I've already given her enough of my attention.
Well, if that's the case, where are you then?
Why should that matter to you?
Well, I don't know. I'm just so curious. I mean, you're probably out at the moment, right? I don't know if I'll ever be able to get in, but I want to go to the places that you go to. It must be so fun. The type of experience you have must be exhilarating.
From your perspective, it must be that way. For me, it's just normal. I'm currently enjoying myself at a strip club that has private access. Not everyone can get in here.
Hold on a second. What did you just say? You're at a strip club right now? You're a married man. What are you doing there?
This is something you will never understand. Haven't you ever seen a lion and their pride in how they work? The king does what he wants. He doesn't just have the queen in his life.
Okay, but that's really dishonest to your wife. She's probably worried about where you are right now. She is definitely worried.
Okay, so what am I gonna do? Come back and listen to her nagging at me? I am telling you now, that woman never gives me peace of mind. I mean, she's getting a full-on good deal right here, isn't she? A guy that earns a decent amount of money, has this amount of influence, and looks good at the same time? She should be grateful for what she has. I don't want to go home and listen to her now. This girl, Christine, she is off the charts. I mean, you are never gonna find a woman like this. This is a real woman. One day, when you get to my level, you'll be able to find out.
Okay, well, what's the name of the club so that I can experience it at some point?
What? Do you want to come join me or something? I'm not gonna find you knocking on that door looking for me, am I? Just remember that I have my people posted out here. They know about you. I told them to lay off you tonight, but if they actually see you, their blood might start running again.
Now, don't worry about that. This is just out of pure curiosity. I want to know where you are. I want to eat the best food and be with the best women. I'm just like you. I hate being around my wife.
Yeah, I'd be pretty miserable if I was with someone like that as well. I mean, look at her. Do you really want to keep hanging around the oldies for the rest of your life? Every now and then you need a bite of a younger fruit. The ones that have just ripened. No one wants to eat a rotten banana.
Yeah, you're right. I want to feel young again. I want to be around the young ladies like you.
Yeah, well, keep on dreaming, buddy. I doubt you're ever gonna get into a position where you'd be able to come to a club like this. This place is called Devil's Lounge. It's owned by some very powerful people. I happen to know them, actually. I'm very good friends with them. That's why I'm here in the first place.
The Devil's Lounge.
You know what? If you start doing as I say and quit that soccer team, maybe I'll bring you in here. I'll give you 2 minutes to taste, and then you can leave. I want you to know what you've been missing out on. Anyway, stop distracting me. I've got a private dance with Christine. You've set me up, haven't you? There's no way all of this is happening just out of coincidence. I know someone has set me up.
What are you talking about, Henry? I was in bed. I thought you told me no one's coming over and I could get a good night's sleep. You also had that little dance with Christine, didn't you? Don't call me this late at night. I need to get some good sleep so that tomorrow I can work hard to be a great, awesome guy like you.
Yo, just shut up. Enough with the bootlicking. I know you're just trying to toot my horn. Get real. What the hell have you done? Who are those guys out there? I know this all has something to do with you.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not even sure what is going on over there.
Don't act like you don't know. You're the only person that knows I came here. They're all asking for me out there. So out with it already. What is going on?
Henry, I think you do need to calm down. Are you sure you're not the one that's on the reefer? You might have taken some illicit drugs over there and it's starting to take an effect on you. If you want my advice, you'll just head out there, get into a cab, and go home.
Yeah, right. As if I'm gonna do something like that. That's exactly what you want me to do, right? Just walk myself into the fray. I know those guys out there mean business. They're here to do something really horrible to me. I'm not just gonna walk out there like a lamb to slaughter.
What are you talking about right now? There are some guys out there waiting for you? I guess that does make sense though, doesn't it? I mean, you're such a big-time gangster, aren't you? People must have a hit out for you. I mean, let's face it, you were seen walking into that club, right?
Come on, do you think a big-time guy like me is gonna be that clumsy? I did whatever I could to hide my identity. You wouldn't know it was me.
Well, I don't know. If you're as influential as you say you are, then I'm pretty sure someone's been stalking you for a while. They were bound to find out.
Enough of the games, Gabriel. Who are these guys? I've got some people at the door telling me that a guy named Gabriel has sent them. That's gotta be you. Without a doubt, that's you.
Okay, well, I guess I should tell you.
What is going on right now?
That right there is a gang that has been ordered to teach you a lesson.
What do you mean, teach me a lesson? What exactly have I done wrong? Who have I ticked off?
You've ticked me off, Henry. That's who you've ticked off.
Okay, so you order out a hit for me, do you? I wonder how much money this gang costs to do this dirty work. You're just some little simpleton. I'm sure they don't want to go out of their way for you.
You have got no idea who I am. Let me give you a bit of history about myself. Those men out there are affiliated with the gang that I used to run, the Mancinis. Have you ever heard of them?
Wait, what did you just say? Stop messing around with me right now. I am not in a position to deal with your dumb lies right now.
Did I say that I was lying?
Well, of course, this is a lie. There is no way that you got anything to do with the Mancinis. Those guys are all over the news. They're a threat to everyone. We're all scared of them. I can hardly believe some guy like you is actually running them.
I just told you, didn't I? I no longer run them. They used to be run by my men. Now they're out there doing me a favor.
What do you mean doing you a favor? This is insane. If you don't run them anymore, why would they do this?
I have a very, very long history. I have seen many things. I have hurt many people. I don't know if I deserve to live the life that I have now, but I am doing my best to repent for those things.
Who the hell am I talking to?
You're talking to a man that brought a couple of boys and turned their family into an empire. We didn't have the best life. My parents brought me to this country with the skin of their teeth. They wanted me to do something great. Unfortunately, when I was growing up, the people around me weren't of the best caliber. I don't want to use that as an excuse, but it kind of led me to be the man who I was.
Just who the hell are you? There is no way I'm gonna believe someone like you is this vicious, terrifying leader of one of the most powerful gangs in this country.
I know, I've been doing quite well to keep up appearances. I mean, all those natural tendencies to relish in violence and the pain of others has been a really hard thing for me to suppress.
You're telling me you're the exact opposite of those types of things? Whenever I see you at those soccer games, you're such a suck-up to everyone. We all think you're the loser of the dads.
Well, I'm doing what I can to keep up appearances. I'm very good at playing both extremes. Whatever role I need to be to help my family, I'll be that role. In the past, I had to be someone powerful, someone that commanded authority, to bring my family to the place where it needs to be. And now my family demands a man that calms down. They need someone that doesn't bring danger to them. That's why I am no longer in the mafia. I had to leave it to my close associate to run.
This is just ridiculous. There's no way I'm gonna believe a guy like you had this much influence. I mean, you are such a dork.
You don't have to believe me. Just go look at those men outside if you want proof.
You wouldn't actually try and hurt me, would you, Gabriel? Come on, from a fellow gangster, we both know how this road ends. We can sort this out in other ways, can't we? I mean, from one gangster to another, we know how this is gonna turn out. We don't want blood spilt here. We'll figure out some sort of deal, some arrangement.
Look at you, acting all tough, like you know how this world works. What was that gang of yours called? I'm getting older and these types of things just slip my mind.
You said so yourself, didn't you? We're the drunken misfits. We're just as powerful and terrifying as your gang. But I don't need to tell you this. You already know it.
Oh, right, that's right. The drunken misfits. You really are a big loser, aren't you? Did you really expect me to believe something as stupid as that?
What do you mean, believe it? You're the one that brought them up.
After I saw you stumbling like a buffoon trying to think of a name for a gang, I just decided to give you something. This is hilarious. I was just giving you the most cliche and embarrassingly lame name that I could think of, and you actually ran with it.
What the hell? So you're telling me that these people don't exist? There's no such thing as the drunken misfits?
Well, it comes out now, doesn't it? You're finally telling me that you weren't in a gang and that was all a lie. I have got to be honest, from someone who came from that world, I have lost a lot of respect for you. I think you need to know what this world really tastes like before you start disrespecting it like that again.
What do you mean disrespecting it?
Well, let me tell you something, Henry. Anyone that's a part of this world knows that they don't want to brag about it. We all want to keep on the down low. And this is a concept that you wouldn't be able to understand because to care about a gang is to care about family.
What's that supposed to mean?
It means I know exactly how you operate. My wife talks to your wife. My kid talks to your kid. We have a very good idea about how things run over there. It is an absolute joke. You don't care about your family at all. To hear you sitting there with your big ego talking about how you're influential and high up in that gang disgusted me. Someone with this much disregard for others would never get to that position. And I want you to understand that.
I can't believe this is happening. You're meant to just be some dweeb out of a soccer game. How could that guy with his shirt tucked in, walking around like a loser, be this terrifying? Well, you know what? Fine, I get it. You're a big-time gangster. Good for you. I'll accept that. Now, can you just tell those guys to walk away?
What was that? Henry, you didn't actually think it would end with a little bit of a threat from me, did you? You know my identity now. I can't let that get out there. No, we're gonna have to finish you off.
What's that supposed to mean? What are you gonna do to me? Hey, you listen to me. Don't you make the wrong decision. I am a good man, you hear me? People are gonna try find me.
What people? You were never a man that had many friends. No one would notice that you're missing. Besides, out of the people that would go looking for you, we've already dealt with him.
Oh my God, what does that mean? Don't tell me you've done something to my family. What have you done? What have you done? Don't you walk away from me. Where the hell are you right now? I'm gonna deal with you myself. I don't care if there's 100 men out there. If you've hurt my family, I'm not gonna let you get away with it. You hear me, Gabriel? I will destroy you.
Antonio, I haven't received a message from you. Is the deed done? Is everything taken care of? It sure is, Gabriel. I'm sorry. I know we had to do you that favor, but we had a lot of things to deal with in this gang. We've been very successful, but there's a lot of work. We were set back a little bit from our little endeavor yesterday. I'm really sorry that I've compromised your situation. I hope you'll forgive me. You'll be rewarded handsomely for it. No, there's no need. This is nothing compared to what you've done for me. I can't count on my fingers the number of times you've saved my life. Whatever you need, just give me the word. I don't care what it is, I'll never be able to repay the debt that I owe you. You're a good man, Antonio. Look, if I'm doing the right thing, this should be the last time that I ever talk to you. Now, I know that you're talking to me like a brother, but you have to understand, I'm living a new life now. Are you sure that you're up for this, though? Gabriel, I mean, what you're doing right now is just not who you are. You're not this man that goes around sucking up to people. You're a guy that commands respect. I can't imagine how you feel day by day pretending that you're one of those people. Don't you ever feel like coming back to us? I know that we're doing well at the moment and our operations are expanding, but just imagine how well we could do with your influence. I don't deserve this blessing that you've given me. Antonio, you've been in that business for this long and you still haven't learned that what I've been giving you isn't a blessing. I've cursed you with that family. What does that mean? You know, I've been in this game for a long time. You have your family and I have mine. I chose to hand that over to you because I didn't want to endanger my family. I have to be honest, when I did it that day, there was a part of me that felt really bad. I'm giving you this empire that puts you and your family at risk. I knew at first you would see it as a blessing, but I thought that after all these years, you would feel the same way that I did. Don't you know that these people will use your family against you? If they ever get a hold of Maria, they're gonna use that as leverage to manipulate you. That right there is a heavy burden. But Gabriel, this has never happened to you, right? Why would you say that would happen to me? This is just inevitable. The game we were playing is not the one that you can play forever. The devil will get what's due at some point, whether that's in the living life or in the life afterwards is beyond us. So I want to say sorry. I'm sorry, but I've left everything to you. I'm sorry that I've been putting your family at risk. I don't know what you're apologizing for, Gabriel. I don't see an issue with our arrangement at all. The only issue I see is you becoming a man that you're not meant to be. I know we said last time that we're behind everything. That day we argued, we put it aside, but I have to be honest. I'm still feeling the same emotions from that day. I think you're a coward for walking away from this. I think you're neglecting your responsibility. You have a special energy about you and it's wasted on those people. You're pretending to be like them. Look, Antonio, when you have a child, maybe you'll start to understand where I'm coming from. You and Maria are still fresh into your marriage. When you have a child, you'll realize that you don't want him to have this life. You want him to be more than that. I don't want him to be like the people around me, but I want him to be well-adjusted and doing something socially acceptable. Surely even you must agree with that. All the experiences we have over the years are traumatic. Do you really think I want my boy to have the same experiences that I had? No, I need to do something to save him. But aren't you tired of being a sycophant every day? You're not wrong about that. There's a part of me that craves the lifestyle that I used to have. But I'm telling you now, watching my little boy grow stronger and more capable as a young man is worth all the pain that I'm experiencing right now. I guess there's no getting through to you, is there? Gabriel, you really are set in your ways. I am. And when I say that this is the last time that we will be speaking, I mean it. Even if something like this happens again, I'm just going to brush it off and go with the punches. I'll let the next guy disrespect me as much as he wants. I was a little bit rash to rely on your power. So, once again, we're separating, are we? That's a shame. I thought I could get through to you this time. Good luck with everything, Antonio. And I want you to heed my words wisely. I want you to create a good life for your children as well. Before we go, did you sort out the cafone? Don't worry, he's been dealt with. You won't be hearing from him again. Good man. After the incident at the club that night, I instructed Antonio to take Henry to a port and bag him up. They barely touched Henry, but they did a good job of scaring him. They ordered him to leave town or something would happen to him. I kept Antonio as my informant, and he confirmed that Henry took his family, sold all of his assets, and left the state. From what Antonio says, he is so paranoid about being attacked that he doesn't come outside. It's only a matter of time before his wife leaves him out of frustration. Thankfully, I won't be hearing from him again. Antonio was quite stubborn about what I had to say. He still believed that there was a life running the gang as usual. But, as I said, things would change when he had a child. And when he had that little boy, he decided to pass on his leadership to someone else. There's still a bit of tension between us. So he didn't join up with me, but he's somewhere else, living happily with his family. As for me, I'm becoming more and more accustomed to the lifestyle that I've chosen. My little boy is growing up quickly. I didn't intend for him to become some amazing soccer star or anything, but he is really talented in it. I think he's got a career in this area. I'm gonna keep supporting him and ensure that he becomes the best man he can be. I just hope he never hears about the horrors that his papa has caused. Thank you for watching. Be sure to hit like if you enjoyed this video, and make sure to subscribe to see more similar content. See you in the next video.